If you were to go through the history of products and rank them from the top, the invention of the internet, the personal computer, all the way to the bottom, like NFT art, somewhere just below the middle would be the Ragnok gun mouse. This is stupid, but it's the kind of stupid I'm into. The premise here is, what if we turned your mouse into a gun handle? And they did it. And you know what? This isn't even V1, this is V2 of this product. They've had time to give all kinds of improvements. And I can't believe we are looking at this. I am beyond excited to have a good laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, and I think we're all a little sick, Inside we're already done. We finished unboxing. That's all that's in the box. This box is actually pretty nice. Born for FPS, that's beautiful. I did come out of my mother holding a gun as well. We can look at this outer box and then not look at it because it's stupid. Don't worry, it's just specs on the box and I will read those out as we go through it. There is 4 elements inside this box. We got our little dongle, that's nice. It looks kind of just like a little generic Bluetoothy one. We have what seems to be quite a long Type-C cable. Not a particularly high quality one, but if my wingspan is anything to go by. Did you know that wingspan in fantasy books means size? Nani? The more you know. And that leaves us with our gun. My first impression picking this thing up is that it's very cheap. It's only 100 grams, which is good for a gaming mouse. When I imagine wielding a firearm, I wanted to, have some heft, some weight, and this does not quite deliver that. At the top, we have our DPI button. We have kind of soft plastic where our palm and fingers will go. On the sides, we have our grip, meant to simulate holding a pistol in your hands. It feels really cheap. I feel like if I did that a bunch, there would be more of my skin left on this thing than texture. You like that, huh, Andrew? On this side, we have our metal scroll wheel and our little tactile bump. The scroll wheel feels fine. It's like a little loose, kind of side to side. The texture on the thumb feels fine. There's a click. I would describe it as, adequate. This isn't gonna win any awards for stability or, predictability as to what's happening, but yeah, there's enough tactility in the roll that you can have some precision in how much you're trying to scroll through. My first impression is that this is not nearly tactile enough. To be fair, there's not really anything else you could accidentally press here, so it feels less like a thumb press and more of just like a handle squeeze. It has a solid, click sound, not a click feeling. Not a great click. On the front, we have our left and right click, trigger, and then our other trigger, our aim down the sights button. Every gun has one of those. I think that's totally a fair placement. This mouse, if you place it on its side, it would be a right click on the right, left click on the left, so that's a pretty natural feeling thing. The feeling of these buttons is really bad. They have MX key switches, which is nice theoretically, but there's kind of a different expectation when you're pressing buttons to when you're pressing a keyboard. I wish there was a tactile bump that I was like, I've pressed it. The trigger, maybe not, and because it's for PC gaming, I don't expect like an analog trigger, but the overall impression of these two buttons that it's really cheap feeling. Also on the front is our Type-C port, very nice. Every peripheral should just be Type-C now. I don't care about any of your excuses, Logitech. On the bottom, we have the good stuff, our PixArt sensor, as well as our power on and our vibration on and off switch. On the bottom, we have these very small glide pads that are supplemented by the palm rest glide pads that are kind of surprisingly small. I'd expect, the whole thing to have a glide pad, but maybe they did some testing and that didn't feel good. I'm doing some testing right now and it doesn't feel good as is, so. Look, I don't want to be too hard on this product because it's clearly, trying for something new, and I like to praise manufacturers that are trying just crazy stuff, off the wall stuff. And this isn't the craziest thing I've seen, and I think there could be a good implementation of this. When you hold the whole mouse in your hand, I don't have particularly big hands, and I haven't held a ton of real guns, but the bottom bump here makes this feel like it doesn't fit super comfortably in my hand. Like it's fine. The front buttons are pretty easy to press. The DPI button, which doesn't need to be pressed, that's fine. But I'm finding my thumbs probably wouldn't enjoy the scroll position too much. I feel like without even trying to press the button, just like squeezing, if I'm not concentrating on not including my thumb, I'm just gonna press that button, and this scroll wheel doesn't feel super in the right spot. Like I wish it was a little further back and higher up, but it's hard. Ergonomics are hard on a product like this because it's just, there's one version of this and a billion hands. Having moved this around a tiny bit, I can't tell if I would want the palm rest. Like the extra, you know, smoothness is a little bit nice. I also don't think that I want my palm rubbing against the table the entire time I'd play a game. But because this isn't secured, I can feel when I kind of do quick movements, the mouse handle sort of come out. I'd like to see a better securing mechanism. I'm not sure the best way to do that without adding a bunch of weight. As it is, this kind of feels like an afterthought. Although that's the big update in V2 is this thing. Oh yeah, see, this isn't a good experience either. I can feel the bottom of my hand pinch against this gun handle as I move it. Oh, that's not nice. Oh no. Oh, I need this, but this doesn't feel good either. Oh no. I think in V3, after V2 is an inevitable huge success, they should install a better mounting mechanism and or make this just part of it permanently. I don't think it needs to be quite as big, but have a bigger glide path surface, balance it out so that the design includes this in all of its considerations, and then it could be better. I'm not a big fan of mice that have thumb scoops. I like having my hand down to feel the tactility, but unfortunately with this, the way that I'm gripping it, unless I'm purposefully like holding it up off the table, yeah, my hand's just getting pinched, and that fucking sucks. So I'm very excited to test this out some more, play some games, but not before I tell you about our sponsor, XSplit. XSplit is a cutting-edge software company that provides advanced broadcasting and video production tools for creators, gamers, and businesses. XSplit offers a range of products like Broadcaster and VCam. Broadcaster allows users to capture, produce, and stream high-quality video content to popular platforms such as Twitch and YouTube. VCam allows users to remove, replace, or blur their webcam background during a video call, live stream, or recording, creating a more professional-looking and distraction-free video. Check out XSplit today at lmg.gg/xsplit and get 69% off using the code Linus at the link in the video description. Surprisingly, I plug it in and it works. For some reason, this product makes so little sense in my head, it would honestly make more sense that it just doesn't work. But here we are, it's a mouse. I can already tell you that if competitive gaming is your thing, this is not the mouse for you. Just by its nature, this is not gonna be a precise mouse because of the way you have to interface with it. Like when you think about it, you know, a normal mouse, you're on the table. You can do big shoulder movements, smaller forearm movements, and then just really precise little hand movements to adjust. With this, you can kind of do that, but that's not an axis that you're normally controlling a mouse on. And so I don't feel like I would be as precise there. You can still have the big sweeping movements, but it's a different axis of motion than you're used to, and I have a feeling that you're gonna struggle, because even as I'm demonstrating this comes undone. Although I think that reorienting your arm and your brain in how you aim in a game could be trouble, there might be a little bit of compensation when you consider that you're holding something akin to a gun handle, and so it might be easier for your brain to connect to your in-game actions on this axis of motion, you know, side to side. But as soon as you're trying to aim up, it's gonna be really counterintuitive. You're gonna have to like pull the mouse back instead of just, you know, tilting. Like if you're aiming a gun, you're just like, you know, bang, bang, bang. I just got canceled on YouTube. That's to say that even if this was the highest quality product that they could possibly put together, it's working against the years and years of muscle memory that you would have had using a regular mouse. They claim that this shape is actually a more ergonomic shape, which actually holds some weight. Your arm is meant to have its bones aligned this way. When you roll your hand over, it's crossing over, and so that's a non-ergonomic shape. So you'll see, you know, the MX Master, the ergonomic mice, they'll have your hand sort of almost vertical at kind of an angle, and that's the most comfortable position for repeated use on an arm. Gaming mice haven't really switched to the ergo shape just because they're bigger, they're gonna weigh heavier, and also the amount of precision then goes down because you're just losing that axis of motion one more time. I want to play Spider-Man with a gun in my hand. Spider-Man loves guns. Everybody knows that. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting to the most exciting part. I'm going to turn the vibration on. It's doing nothing. Okay. Very cool. Oh, it did something! When I click on the menu options, it vibrates. It feels like very primitive vibration. It's none of that haptic baloney that the fancy people want you to have. It's just that motor that's just going like. It is pretty novel to have something shaped like this in my hand vibrate. And I have to say that I'm curious to know exactly how long the battery life will last when the vibration on it. It's actually quite a large battery for a mouse, 800 milliamp hours. They claim that it gets you 56 hours of regular use or 2 months on standby. I would guess that that's not including the vibration motor, and that'll dampen those hours significantly. Although that kind of a simple.
That's not a good phase.
Oh, there's no reload. Okay, I kind of like it.
Kinda like it?
I kind of like it.
I mean, it looks fun, to be fair.
That's a good point, where it looks fun because it's something kind of novel and different. It's like using a joystick for anything other than like a flight sim.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird way to input stuff. Or I think specifically when I use an arcade stick at home, I'm way better at fighting games when I'm using a controller. I have just like way more immediate input. I have a lot more muscle memory, but it's really fun, to pop in like Metal Slug 3 and play it on an arcade stick. There's like a novel feeling to doing something that's a little bit out of the ordinary for you. Okay, do I like this thing? All right, okay. Ragnok, let's go. As fun as I am having, when I get down to the nitty gritty of the experience of the details of this mouse, using a key switch as the button, I don't think was the best choice. I think there was a lot of alternative buttons they could have used. It's not the worst thing I've ever had, but it just feels a little loose. Like it feels light and it pushes back in a way that's not an authentically like trigger or like a gun feeling. I can already feel the bill to a physiotherapist building, just accumulating, rising in dollars every second I use this thing. It's kind of a weird experience. And I always feel like when I first switch to a new input device, it takes a little bit of learning to make it work. But I can feel my shoulder very, very tense. This is kind of sick. Oh no. In the end, as knowledgeable about mice and gaming peripherals as I like to think I am just a monkey. And monkey-like. This is fun. I specifically chose Doom Eternal because I don't expect people using this are actually gonna use this for competitive gaming. It's just makes no sense, but I think it's kind of a thrilling device to use. So I wanted a game that was high speed and still demands some precision, but is really more about the experience of fighting off the hordes of hell. And it was a pretty good experience. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I am trying to set using this side button as my new button press, but it's registering as a left click. I don't know if that's by design or what it is, but this seems to be a left click button. And that is stupid. Like, why? It would be much better to have this be another button I could assign. In video games, I often use my side buttons as a grenade and a melee. And having two things on the side would have been nice. Now I have, kind of one. A mouse click, which is not ideal because often, in the heat of the moment, you'll roll and press at the same time, which is not the best. Oh, because I can't use the side button as my melee button, my thumb will have to rest on the scroll wheel, which is not a super comfortable position. You can kind of see my hands just like got a little tension just holding my thumb here. And it just doesn't feel particularly comfortable having my hand enstrained just to have it rest where I want it to. Okay, but if I just turn off that part of my brain that's trying to be efficient with button presses and I just grab it like a f***ing gun, let's go. Yeah, fuck you, demon. You too. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay.
Because it's such a novelty thing, do you think it would, if it felt more premium, you'd like it more?
That's a great question. I think if this felt more premium, I would like it more. I think if, you know, it had a metal heft and the buttons were really like ergonomically placed and the handle actually felt like you were holding a gun, I think the thrill would be even higher. But I think the problem is that it would be a lot more expensive. And this comes in at a fairly respectable $60 on Amazon, $70 MSRP on their own website. You can get multiple 305s when they're on sale. And that's obviously a better mouse, but if you know you're someone who plays a lot of single player FPSs and you just kind of want a thrill, and $60 isn't the end of the world, this is pretty fun. It's stupid. It's not particularly well built, but I'm actually find myself kind of having a good time just like moving it around, aiming stuff, and maybe that novelty would wear off at some point. But you can color me impressed. Just like I'll be impressed by you watching the next ShortCircuit video, which is me unboxing the Razer Viper Mini Signature. Razer's best gaming mouse. It's awesome. It's the one Razer product that I would definitely want. But just wait till you see the price tag.